Oh. What are you working on?
Some paintings.
These are some of our paintings that we do for our wedding photographer partners. Paint them, ship them, done. What's your first step, love? What's your first step?
First step is skin.
So Esther's starting on the skin. We do different sections, each of us. And I'm gonna start here on the suit. We usually try to do 2 at a time. Got these really cool brushes called daggers. They look like that. Got like a curved edge to them. And it lets you be able to have this like really detailed, sharp edge. But then also you can lay it flat and get a really good kind of thicker. And then I mix some blue in with it. I never use just one color. So even if the suit is a black suit, I'm always gonna be mixing usually blue in with it as well. So I'd never use just one color. And we have the same palette here. This one just has more blue left. I'm just gonna go in with a medium color. So we do it for photographers and then they give it to their clients. And this is one of our most consistent partners. We absolutely love working with her. She's on Instagram, morgan.lee.photography on Instagram. She is fantastic and you should go give her a look. And if you're interested in getting wedding photography done, I would definitely message her on Instagram. Tell her that we sent you. So same photographer, different couples.
Get the photos, get the outline, we lay down the bases, skin. I lay down the base for the skin, the hair, flowers, all the like details, and then you do the suits.
And we try to have 2 going at once because that is
The most productive.
Oh, I got it here. When we first started doing it years ago, I was like, oh, we should do it at the same time. That'd be so cool. But trying to work on the same painting at the same time, yeah, that was a horrible idea. So something that I talk about a lot in art, and I don't know if I like the name I gave it, but it's really what it is. I call it fake realism. So if you add any sort of detail, it's always going to make it look more realistic. It doesn't even need to perfectly follow exact detail that you see on the picture. If you add little lines, if you add texture of any kind, it's always going to make it look more realistic. And that's something that I try to follow a lot, is that if I see an area that could use more maybe focus, I'll simply add more detail. And usually in watercolor that would mean adding either texture there or adding a little bit of white, letting the white through. So like here's a part where I was talking about that fake realism, where there's a bunch of flowers and stuff here that go over where they're in front of the suit. So in any form of painting, but in watercolor specifically, because you can't put light colors over dark colors, is you have to do negative painting. So no, you don't have to be sad to do it or be negative, but what you have to do is you have to paint around the subject. Think of a shape and outline it. Don't think of what's inside of that shape. The most important part of a shape is the outline. That when we do the inside, we can be a little looser with it, but again, you gotta have those textures. It's probably a better word for it, is random texture rather than fake realism. But
What I say is facts. I keep losing my train of thought. Where was I going? What was I saying?
That's probably why the paintings aren't getting done either.
You know.
Nate just spit his drink. Oh yeah, Nate is here, by the way. Let me pan over to Nate. This is Nate.
Hello, I am fashionable today. I'm wearing
This is
sunglasses in this hot.
Nate's fantastic.
What you guys do is paint a painting separate on each.
Yeah, we usually have 2 going. So for shoes, it's good to leave a really bright highlight that follows the exact shape here. So like this. You can probably hardly see it in the video. So the hair here is that fake realism again. So I'm just dotting the brush up and down. Just getting some, but leaving highlights. So then I come through, dab off the brush here, and a big mistake that a lot of people do is they come back with the brush way too wet. There's already a lot of water in the paint. So really all you gotta do is just be able to push it around a little bit. So here, she's working on the flowers there, and there's that fake realism. So just little dots. It's not following the exact detail that's necessarily in the flowers. I mean, it is at the same time. It's both. But sometimes it's just jittering that brush around, bringing in that texture. The texture is that fake realism. It's just texture. And then also outlining. So even though this is a skin color, and maybe the dress isn't outlined in a skin color, a peachy tone, but I'm still gonna do that. And I'm just going around. So I talked about the shoes on the other one, but they were black shoes. It's just a little harder to see. So I'm gonna show you with some brown shoes here, the same style.
Hello, we are back.
Nate's trying to take over, guys.
I am trying to take
Nate's
over.
gonna watch the release video and we're gonna edit him out. I just put us answers.
Put our answers? That'd be heck of funny.
So I'm adding the last couple details on the hair. Just a couple swoops, get the shape right. But I've basically done all of it, so it's just a couple extra pieces with the darkest color. Start out with the lightest and slowly build up the details. Looking pretty cute. How do you like that hair, Bev?
That's it. Oh, good job. That's really good. Here, you've got the thicker material.
Satin.
Yeah, exactly. It's like satin instead of the
Sheer, tulle, chiffon. What you thinking, lace?
lace instead of the lace. So,
The most common.
so yeah. Sorry, Esther spewed up all this stuff. It's not the lace thing here. So when you're doing the dresses, a lot of times you're gonna see. You think it's white, right? Oh, the dress is white. No, it's not. Well, yes, it is. But what you have here is peachy tones are fantastic in the dresses always. Good peachy tones and blues. And what you do is you mix the blues and the peachy tones and you get a gray. Okay? Because blues and oranges are going to give you gray, so a peachy tone is slightly orange, and a dull down blue, you mix those two things together, you're going to get gray. So using the opposites, they're not exact opposites, but they're close. So using opposites in that manner, it's going to give you where when those colors start to mix together a little bit, you're going to get that gray. It's fantastic. So, and also purple. I'm always adding a lot of, I love the color Theo Violet. I love mauve. Now mauve is a cool purple, Theo Violet is a warm purple. And again, these are watercolor terms, so if you think these are weird color names, everyone's always like, those are so strange. My favorite color name is alizarin crimson, but that's red. So anyway, so I'm doing purple, and this purple, I would say this is somewhat of a Theo Violet. It's a warm purple. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find some of the darkest folds of the dress here. So the ones that we've already have drawn in, those are obviously gonna be the darkest. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn this upside down to you, it's right side up. So I got this, I'm gonna add a tiny bit more blue in here, and I wish I had the cerulean blue. We need a tube of cerulean blue too, because we have a tube, this is the cobalt, ultramarine. Very similar, ultramarine and cobalt. So I'm adding a tiny bit of this blue, and you're gonna see what that blue did there. So before it was almost perfectly a peachy tone, and now you see here it's dulled it out. So putting that blue in there, and then we're gonna go in. So I've got this upside down now. You can turn, if you're gonna turn your painting upside down, turn what you're looking upside down. Okay? So I'm gonna start where it's darkest, which is up here, and it's very thin. So I'm starting up here and bringing this down. As I come down again with this dagger brush that I really like, it gives this really cool, so boom, 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 boom. And then I come back through and I keep darkening on the side where the fold is. Okay, and if I just dot in color, it's gonna automatically go darker here. And don't be afraid to keep it dark and the edge hard for now. So I have this hard edge over here, you know it's gonna be soft in a second. See, I'm keeping it wet, because I'm going up and down. And I'm gonna add another color in there. So while it's wet, I'm gonna drop in other colors, because you don't want one solid color all the way through. You wanna bring some interest, okay? So you're bringing this in, you're letting it do its thing, it's doing its watercolor thing. A lot of water on the brush, but I'm dabbing most of that water off. Dab, 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 dab. This is one of the biggest mistakes, people don't dab it off enough. And I'm not starting all the way up here because that fold is crisp up there, but as it gets down here, boom, boom, boom. Now we have a lost and found edge, so the found edge there. And I'm getting as close as I can to it, but I slowly let that go away. And boom, okay? There's one of the major folds in the dress. And don't be afraid, don't be afraid to be using like a paper towel to dab it off and get that edge to totally go away, okay? A lot of people are afraid to use it. It's really fantastic, and boom, there you go. Okay, so a really nice blend there. Let's see if I can get it to be seen a little bit. Boom, there it is, okay? So now I would keep doing that. I keep finding places, and you shouldn't touch much back into it. It's really a bad idea, so that's what I'm gonna do right now. Touch back into it.
I'm not gonna do
That's always a bad idea. It's very difficult to do it without the water pushing back into what you did and ruining that edge, but if you're careful and you've done it for a while, you'll be able to feel, I'm telling you, I feel the amount of water that's on the end of this brush. And I can tell exactly what it's gonna do, and that's just years of painting. Okay, so I'm gonna keep doing a few more of these. These brushes get a little older here, anyways. But so as they get old, the tip just goes away. And you can literally see the hairs there. So I'm gonna move over here, and that stayed fairly purple. So I'm gonna go onto the peachy side. So I'm just putting some orange back in there, keeping a little bit of the blue, a little bit. That blue and that orange, those opposites there, really gonna help. I'm just gonna bring this up here. And this one, I'm gonna leave this one out of the way. So I'm not gonna blend this one at all. Simply gonna take the tissue, and I always get a dirty side of the tissue, and it just ruins everything. Look at this. So I blended it just with that bump down. Okay? So don't be afraid to use that. You know, some people are like, oh, you're gonna blend with the brush, oh, you're cheating. You just make it work. Now I'm gonna make this one a little more blue, right? So I've done some peachy ones, done some purple ones, and I'm gonna go in with slight, and don't be crazy with it, right? So I put a little brown in here, roll it down, and turn this upside down. Now this time I'm gonna keep it thick the whole way. So I'm keeping this, pushing the brush down. I can see the tip of my brush, very important. I'm just gonna bring this up, lifting the brush off, send it to the top. Boom. So all these things that I'm saying out loud are things I'm kind of thinking in my head as I'm doing it. So I'm just saying it out loud, so you can see exactly what I'm doing here. Dab off the brush, dab, 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 dab. Very little water in here. There's already a lot of water in the paint, right? You're just moving it around. If you put a bunch of water on your brush and you go in there, it's gonna push the color back. So all that nice color that you got, if you go in with a bunch of water, it's gonna push back into the paint. It's gonna get rid of it. So I come up here, I dot with this, and look at this. Blend, boom, look at that. And it stays soft. It's gonna soften itself back out with the water that's there. When you dab it off with the brush, again, with the paper towel, again, it gives it that texture. It gives it that little bit of those details that you really can't paint them in. I mean, I'd have to go in with a single hair brush and go like this, but you do this, and the texture, I mean, the texture of this is getting onto that, and the paint, it's not a perfectly smooth blend. It's not supposed to be. All right? So there are some dress blends.
That was so much talking. I don't know how you do that.
That's what I do. It's pretty good. I think I'm happy with that.
I'm happy with my hair. And that looks cute. Bye-bye.